Hi everyone, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Amber.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And today we're going to be discussing the origins of Snow White. Specifically Snow White and the Seven Dwarves.
Yes! I'm so excited. Dark fairy tales, guys. Are you with it? Are you excited? I am pumped. I don't know if you can feel the energy. I hope you can feel the energy.
Oh, I'm feeling it. I was thinking of Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove when he's like, oh yeah.
That's so funny that you bring up Kronk, because Tim from Against All Oddities podcast, he commented on our Thor episode and was like, never heard of a himbo, but it's got to be a good thing because Kronk is awesome.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And I was like, fair the fuck enough. That's a good assessment.
So we did some research on the Snow White origin, and
It's fucked up.
I knew it was going to be fucked up, but Snow White is not my favorite fairy tale by far.
What's your favorite fairy tale?
Okay, so I don't know if this counts as a fairy tale or not because it's written by that Hans guy.
Hans Christian Andersen.
Yeah, I like The Little Mermaid. It was always my favorite, Little Mermaid.
I love me some Thumbelina. Little bitch can fit in a walnut shell.
I've never seen Thumbelina.
Love Thumbelina.
I haven't. But I love The Little Mermaid.
I don't really remember the movie per se. I watched it a lot as a kid.
It's between Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. Love me some Beauty and the Beast.
You all about people transforming into animals or vice versa.
Am I?
Well, I mean, Little Mermaid.
Shit, you're right. Okay, I was like, does somebody transform into Snow White? That's why I was confused for a minute.
No,
why am I looking at this paper like it's going to say anything different?
It's Saturday night. We're having a great weekend, y'all. We're having a good time.
But I guess you're right. I love The Little Mermaid. I love the Disney version of The Little Mermaid because who doesn't love me some Ursula?
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. I love Ursula.
I do,
and Sebastian.
But then we got the Beauty and the Beast, and I love Belle, but I love the Beast too. And shout out to everyone who was disappointed when he turned into a human.
For real.
He wasn't even attractive. No. I blame the art. Because
the art was that they tried to make him look too much like the Beast still, but they failed because they took all the sexiness of the Beast and then they give us that guy.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Lame. I don't know what that was about, but like even 12-year-old me was like, yo, even Gaston's looking all right now.
I like to think. Well, Gaston.
I'm not.
Gaston. Okay, he's like.
I have no judgment. I just am not a Gaston.
I'm not
admirer.
Sexually attracted to Gaston in any means, though I do like Shang from Mulan.
Gambit.
It's just I like that type of villain. I like the bully
McFly.
The McFly type of bully.
Yeah, because he's not McFly. It's the guy that says McFly. I couldn't remember his name.
Literally, Gaston. He ain't got no magic powers. He's not like Maleficent. Check out our next episode where we discuss Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
But he's not like Maleficent, and he's not like Ursula. He is just a really fucking shitty dude, and we have some really shitty dudes in real life.
Well, really shitty dudes fuck shit up for everybody else, and that's just kind of a known fact.
We got toxic masculinity, Gaston, and we've got not toxic masculinity, the Beast.
That was weird. Sorry, guys.
Oh, did I?
No, okay. I like licked my lip when you were like the Beast. I was like, I don't know.
Oh yeah. But we're not talking about Beauty and the Beast. We're gonna get to that.
We're Snow White today, and you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. Okay, I thought I flipped my microphone around. She was only 7 years old, guys.
Well, that's part of why I'm so fucking disappointed.
I know. I'm just like I said, Band-Aid ripped off. Let's just, it hurts. It hurts.
It literally took out half the fucking show.
I know, because no sex jokes.
I know. I'm like, but like, I didn't know that she was 7 years. I think a lot of people, probably a lot of our listeners, had no idea either.
Doing my research.
Yeah, like I always assumed she was in the same age as Ariel. I'm 16.
Yeah, I thought she was like 15, 16. That was like the coming of age
back then.
Yeah. Which I think I'm probably overaging it. If they probably were like, Oh, you're 12 and you're bleeding between the thighs. You're ready to marry, girl.
Oh, I'm so triggered.
Sorry.
No, but like
sad but true.
Anyway, so I had no idea about that. But like also the fact that not stepmother, but also not stepmother.
Right. Should we get into that real quick?
Go ahead, yeah.
My favorite part of this research was learning that, okay, the Grimm brothers, where we get most of our fairy tales, not Hans Christian Andersen fairy tales,
I do
but
love
the other ones.
Love them both.
Because we will totally cover that as well. But Snow White, we know of it from the Grimm version, quote unquote. The Grimms first wrote Snow White down in 1812. They last wrote Snow White down in 1848. And in between, they revised it and they changed it and they made it more palatable for the ages. And one way that they did that was evil mothers were changed to evil stepmothers because it was more quote-unquote Christian to have an evil stepmother versus an evil gave birth to you mother, because it's not very Christian to like want to kill your own kid, but it's more Christian to want to kill other people's.
Yeah, I get it.
Oh, we didn't. I was just rephrasing the way I realized what I said was offensive, and I didn't mean it that way. It wasn't meant to be a knock against you.
You said that, and then I'm like, oh my god, YouTube's gonna fucking filter us out. Unaliving. Because apparently you're not allowed to say Kill.
Oh, really?
Ing.
Okay.
That's why I've noticed a trend of people saying unaliving.
Okay.
But I never like. Wait, it's gonna go.
It's acceptable to get rid of other people's children,
right?
But not your own. Get rid of?
That should totally.
It's gonna come to me more naturally than I will try unalived.
Oh no! Unalived drives me nuts.
Yeah,
I mean because it's grammatically incorrect. So it really drives me nuts.
Yeah.
And then somebody's gonna comment, "Bitch, you just said grammatically. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about." But anyway, so one of the ways that it changed was it went from mother to stepmother.
Yep. What most likely one of the ways it changed was instead of the apple being beaten out of her, it was just slipped out with the coffin being jostled inappropriately.
Both tales are really funny. We'll get into that.
Yes, we're gonna do a whole casting thing for you here. Also, it probably the whole like she didn't age while she was dead versus she then did age while she was dead, so that she was no longer 7 when the prince fell for her. You know, that was probably one of the revisions as well.
You think so? Because I feel like it just makes sense that she would age, but if she's
aging, why would they have her in a coffin, quote unquote? If she's aging, wouldn't you be like doing things to try and feed her? Maybe like prying that piece of apple out of her mouth. Or maybe that's why they never buried the coffin in the first place. It's a glass coffin so that because one, they wanted to see her beauty. Right. But they could also see that she was aging, which is why she was... But they didn't know that when they put her in the glass coffin. That might be why they never did get rid of it. Yeah. I think it was just one of those things. They wrote it in because it made more sense than the prince was lovingly obsessed with a 7-year-old dead kid. 9 to 11 it works better. It makes sense. I know. I'm over here like, wow. We started with me being like, it's fucked up. So we're getting into the fucked upness. All right. So do we want to go ahead and make our cast real quick so we can do the Grimm retelling? Okay. So first up, I think has to be the mother. She is one of the main characters. Oh, I mean, that's an easy one. Cersei Lannister? Oh, no. I was going to say... Emma Robinson. Emma Roberts! Yes! Emma Robinson. Evil mother. Emma. She's gonna end up being our sponsor is what's gonna happen. She's like, bitches, you get me so much. You know what? That's fine. I can't say what I wanted to say next. So we already discussed the prince. We did, because Peter Dinklage, we haven't cast you yet. So you're the prince. Prince Charming.
Also,
we hope you like this.
That really makes me want to watch that. Is it Sereno? I have not seen that movie yet, and I want to see it so bad.
I know. Cyrano de Bergerac?
Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to see it so bad because Peter Dinklage deserves a romantic role.
I'm just writing Dinklage. I don't have much room in this margin here. I took a lot of notes, guys. There's a lot of fucked up in this.
So I don't actually know any young actresses, if I'm being honest.
To play Snow White, the young...
I just don't know young... I watch adult shows. There's not many, you know what I mean?
Well, that's okay because we're witches and our casting is timeless. And I feel like the girl from the Labyrinth.
Yeah, I could see that.
When she's young, because she's real pale
I don't know what
with black hair.
She's beautiful.
Or Liv Tyler, but we've already cast her, so.
Are we casting her as a 16-year-old
this is a fairy tale,
or a 17?
So it could be whatever, 7-year-old.
7? Okay.
Yeah, because we're going Grimm.
So, well, that's what I thought, and I have never seen any of those ones young.
I mean, you can just imagine what they look like young. And these are fairy tales, so it doesn't matter if we cast from our myths, right? It's fine. I feel like it's fine. It's two different
I'm going to go with the girl from the Labyrinth. You're totally right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck is her name? Sarah from the Labyrinth. I know your name, please, because I should know her name. She was in it.
She has very pretty hair.
She does have very pretty hair.
It's so dark.
It is so dark. That's what she came to mind at first. Like she was
and I think it's naturally that dark. It is
Sarah
Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly. Okay. So we're doing the Grimm version, so 7 dwarves. I feel like... Oh my god, can Tom Cruise be one of the 7 dwarves?
Yes, absolutely. Because in my head I'm seeing the one from Family Guy. When he was in Family Guy.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had to look this actress up because I'm like, I've seen her older. I know I have.
Yeah, for sure. So we need 6 more dwarves.
Let's see.
I like, who is that? Wow. You know, when we do the Zam Wow thing and I imitate Owen Wilson. I like Owen Wilson as Dopey.
Oh my god, I like that so much.
Notice I'm going for like not short people because it's fun for me. Except for the Tom Cruise one. That was totally a short joke, guys. Oh my god, Kevin Hart. Short joke, but still.
Yes! Oh my fucking god, yes. That's hilarious.
Kevin Hart, Owen Wilson. Okay, we need 4 more.
Let's see. I had to look at... Because there was one I did want to say. Do you like Nick Frost? He is so silly.
What do I know him from?
He's in...
Oh, he's in like the
Shaun of the Dead, okay. Hot Fuzz.
Nick Frost? Is that his name?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, would it be funny to put Merry and Pippin in?
Yeah, I'm down.
I don't know their names, but I'm just going to put Merry and Pippin. We know.
Is that 7?
I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6. We need 1 more. Who is the tallest actor you can think
I think we should do The Rock if we're doing Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Because, like, they are so funny together.
I'm down. All right, we got our 7 dwarves. We've got the prince, the evil mother. We've got Snow White. Her father doesn't really play a large part.
I think those are really the only ones.
Well, the punchy servant.
Oh, what about the old like the lady that gives the apple? She disguises herself. So should we cast her disguises or no? Because we've got the comb lady.
Well, I I mean, to me, it's just her in disguises. If you want...
I love that. I love that.
I just picture it as Emma Roberts, like... Oh my God, YouTube.
I'm sorry. No, you know what the fuck it is?
You guys can see me.
Emma Roberts pulls the whole Buddhist thing. That doesn't work, right? So she comes back with a comb and she's like, surprise, bitch. I bet you thought you saw the last of me.
Let me tighten your laces. Ooh, okay, we'll get there. Sorry,
I know, we're getting ahead.
Okay, okay. So, the punchy servant, though, I feel like that guy should be cast, and Chris Farley would do that.
He would do that.
And we're witches, so
Adam Sandler.
I think we can bring Chris Farley back for the dead for a fairy tale episode.
He's like, God, and that like Chris Farley.
Oh, okay, we'll get there, guys. You'll get it. Punchy servant. All right. So, do you want to tell how it starts with the blood?
Oh, yes. Okay, so this is absolutely my favorite part. And guys, I'm so sorry I'm out of it. I left my fucking notes at home. Amber has all the notes, so I'm literally looking at your paper because it was...
I'm sorry.
I don't always take a super amount of notes, but like the one time that I do, you know what I mean? So my favorite part of Snow White is actually the opening. And basically there's this queen, Snow White's mother, and I can't remember what she's doing. I think she's like
she's sewing or
crocheting. So whatever it's called, you know.
Where like she's embroidering.
Yes.
Yes.
And she ends up cutting her finger, like she poking her finger.
It with the
and
she's not wearing a thimble.
And
they haven't been invented yet.
No, it's okay.
I'm totally kidding. They have been invented. Please don't call me stupid, guys. It was just a joke. But yes, she pokes her finger with the knitting needle. Or not the... Why do I keep saying like knitting and crochet?
I have to
It's a fucking needle. It's a regular needle. She pricks her finger and there's little drops of blood like when you prick your finger.
Yeah, and it falls onto the ground. And there's this one quote that I love it so much. This one is from Snow White and the Huntsman, and it says, "Once upon a time in deep winter, a queen was admiring the falling snow." That's not the case, obviously. We know she was doing that.
But it was snowy outside.
Yes, and she pricked her finger, and blood fell onto the snow, and she saw how vibrant the red looked against the white of the snow. And she thought to herself that she would love to have a daughter, or a child.
I'm pretty sure she says a daughter.
I'm sure, right? With skin as white as snow, and lips as red as blood, and and hair as dark as the ebony, what'd you say, windowsill.
Which is the weirdest thing. I never knew that before this research. I was like, really? The ebony windowsill?
I got to say, like, I was telling Amber, one of my types, or whatever you want to call it, is like Henry Cavill. Let's use him as an example. Or the prince from... The Little Mermaid, yes. I love me some dark hair, some light eyes, some pale skin, and some red lips, and I totally blame Snow White because of that quote. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful because when you really think about it, snow, or blood on the snow. And I imagine to us, like, or at least to me, like, I'm romanticizing him. Oh, that's gorgeous. To somebody who hunts, it's probably not as gorgeous.
Oh, well, because I was just thinking of... the very first pentatonic song I ever heard, which is White Winter Hymnal, which is like, and basically like scarves are taken off and their heads fall in the snow and the blood is red like strawberries in wintertime. Like, that's the fucking lyrics. And it's a fucking... It's not their song. It's an old-ass song. Like, that's a weird song. It's obviously about a massacre in the wintertime.
God. Well, let's just say blood and snow.
But yeah, blood on the snow. It is very vibrant.
It's gorgeous. It's vibrant.
The imagery
There's a reason
very
candy
vibrant.
canes are a thing. You know what I mean? But anyway, I really do love that opening. And
Red and white.
she her wish does eventually come true.
And she she gets pregnant and she has a child with hair as black as ebony, skin as white as snow, and lips as red as blood.
I have to use, again, I'm going to be quoting lots of pop culture because I love Snow White and pop culture. I do. When that bitch, I'm going to call her that, the evil queen, is like, lips as red as blood, hair as dark as night. Bring me your heart, my dear Snow White. Wow, fuck you. That's
rough, yeah.
I know, like.
No, that's rough.
I'm not going to be able to quote as much with the Sleeping Beauty episode.
We haven't quite gotten there yet.
I know, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
So she has her baby, and she is over the moon. She loves her child. Mm-hmm. She's also a very vain lady who goes to...
Oh, I'm sorry. I was so confused. I thought she died, but we're talking with the traditional...
Like the actual story, not Disney.
Right.
This is the actual story.
Well, and the Grimm Brothers one does say step...
right, but that's the end. Yeah,
that,
this is the original Grimm
I got confused. I hear you.
Yeah, the original Grimm Brothers story. So she's happy, she's raising her daughter, she has exactly what she wants, she's in love, she loves life, and she loves herself. So she's always going to her mirror, and she's saying, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
You are, my dear.
Exactly. Her mirror always echoes back to her that she is the fairest of them all. Until one day it doesn't.
Sorry, I won't. I'm like, fairest you shall be until there comes another.
And that is exactly what happens, because literally. One day the mirror says, usually my queen, I say you are the fairest of them all, but now you have had your fall. There is another whose beauty is better. It is your daughter. I don't remember what the fuck her name is.
You know what? I hate that it's... I hate that.
You hate that?
I hate that. I
mean, it's the OG. Like, it's the original.
Oh, no. What I hate is the concept of a mother hates her daughter when she's more beautiful. You know?
But it really does speak to... I'm not going to say the vanity of women, but like you said when we were talking about this earlier, it speaks to the competitive nature of women with our looks in the society that we live in, because it's made us that way.
Well, you have to think about it. Like, nowadays we are coming into a time where women, as they age, are starting to feel more comfortable embracing their age. Yeah. But in the time that Snow White was a thing, the older you got, look, you can't have babies anymore. You can't have babies anymore.
You know, that is your prime fucking function.
Exactly. And so...
And man, she only gave him a daughter. What was she thinking? She wanted a girl. Job security, you give him a male heir.
Well, any sort of security. Like, that's one of the main things in Jane Austen. Like,
I was making a joke, guys. We're not just baby makers.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. But, like, I did want to go on this topic with Snow White because, like... You want a son no matter what, because, like, your husband dies and you have a daughter, you and your daughter are homeless.
Yeah, or
you
your
know
hookers.
What I mean?
Your sex workers. Sorry.
Exactly. So you need a son to be able to inherit that shit. Right. So I don't know what the fuck the bitch was thinking when she said she wanted a daughter.
I know, I don't either. Like, I was just waiting to be able to say that till we got to that point in the episode.
Right, like, maybe...
What the fuck, lady? Like, you dumb.
It's just, I do feel like it feeds that. And even to this day, we still have the... I don't know. It's sad. I feel like older women versus younger women, we should really be coming together. We shouldn't be pulled apart because of these things.
No, absolutely. Like, I won't lie. I've been listening to Dustin on the rewatch recap a lot lately, and he did the Betty Broderick story. And I feel bad that I'm on Team Betty, because that bitch was fucking crazy. But they made her crazy because she suffered her entire youth to put this man in a position of power. And then this man just fucking dumps her for a younger version of herself. That is our biggest fear as women. We work through our entire prime to make our man happy. And then he can just trade us in for a younger model who is happy to get with an older man, because that stigma doesn't exist in our society. You know what I mean? Yes, Zaddy.
I know. speaking of, please sponsor us, Pedro. Like,
right?
Okay.
Okay, Pedro needs a Zam wow.
Oh, Zam!
Wow. Zaddy, come on. We will Zam wow you every time. This sounds too sexual. I'm sorry.
She's 7.
We're talking about us and our show, Zaddy.
I know.
All right? Zaddy.
But
May we call you Zaddy? Do we need to say Mr. Zaddy? We will for sponsorship.
Fuck, what were we saying? Women. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, I do think the Snow White definitely feeds that sort of, like, thing with our society, whereas...
And I almost feel like back then, it fed it even more because, like, you could be replaced by your daughter potentially. Because,
you really could. You really could.
So, like, if your husband was all like, damn, our daughter be looking finer than you totally could get replaced as a queen. Like, I know I made the joke, which I'm going to tell you guys. I told Maddie, I was like, wow, lady, you're so insecure. A 7-year-old's beauty is going to make you be like, let's kill her. But also,
now I understand. Like,
when we're talking about it, I do understand it because your daughter could replace you in your husband's bed. That's fucked up, eh?
Ew.
Like, right?
I know,
but
sorry,
also,
I got, like...
As a mother of daughters, how horrible of a societal thing is that to literally pit women against the women they're raising? That literally makes for a shittier society.
Well, and, you know, we had talked about...
guys.
Before we made the Zaddy jokes and stuff, how it's okay for men to go after younger women like that.
Yeah.
But also, seeing it through the younger women's perspective, I feel like they could be considered victims all round because not only are they being preyed on by older men, but those older men come with that security that they need to survive, specifically in this time period, which pits them even more against, and it's almost like a survival type thing.
Right, exactly.
I don't want to hurt my mom. I don't want to hurt my stepmom. But I gotta survive, you know what I mean?
No, exactly. That's why I'm like, it's less crazy for this woman to be threatened by that. Just like, it pits us against each other from like the entire get-go of the mother-daughter relationship. It really fucks with like all those generational curses. We're gonna do an episode that we talk about and stuff, like with mothers and daughters, like it's literally been going on for hundreds of years.
Hundreds of thousands,
and bred into us by society. And not just by society,
for older women
but also biologically. Like, unfortunately for women, in the biology of humanity, a man can keep making viable children his entire fucking life after puberty. But a woman only has so many years of viability, and then her eggs are so old, she can still have kids, but those are the problem kids. You don't want to have a kid with an older woman. No offense, guys. I'm just talking about genetic stuff.
That is not meant to be shitty. That is not meant to be shitty.
No, I'm just talking about biologically, guys. But biologically, we are designed for, we get used up and thrown away as in our species. Think about it. The more children your body has, it's a trauma on your body every single time you have a child. Okay? So you have a child, it's a trauma on your body. You have another child, it's a trauma on your body. You're breastfeeding these children because formula didn't exist back then. So like the entire time you're becoming less appealing to a very powerful man.
And here's this young woman and
who looks like you.
And she has none of those scars.
Right.
None of the scars of life. Which is what's so fucked up. I'm sorry. Like I am.
We didn't know we were going to do this, but we're doing
Well, I had an idea.
I mean, I had an idea, but I never thought I was going to understand the evil mother role.
It's
literally like done by... Everything's against us as women. Sorry, guys. I know your life's hard too.
I know. I'm not. I know. Right. I
not
feel
trying
bad,
to be a whiner. I'm just realizing some stuff.
I am also on the point. Like I feel very passionately of. I say that, but like maybe as a writer, I don't want to fuck up and be a hypocrite and write it. But like, We gotta get rid of this fucking shit. We gotta get rid of this. We've got fucking Game of Thrones. For example, Cersei Lannister, Queen You Shall Be, Till There Comes Another, younger and more beautiful. We've got Snow White, all of the Disney fucking movies.
Yeah.
I mean, not just Disney, not just fairy tale. It is very predominant in fantasy. But then we've also got shit like, I can't think of any examples. But like, you know what I'm talking about.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Man, I don't know. I feel like a hypocrite because I do like Zaddy Pedro, and I feel like but like.
Wait. Zaddy Pedro, does he not date anybody over 25?
No, but I have the same age difference.
Well, that's fine because it's not the age difference that matters. It's the fact that Leo's like, oh, you're getting 25 years old. Gotta cut you out of my life. That's the difference. Because it's not the age difference.
It's not the age in between.
Right. It's the fact that Leo's going, oh, you're too old to be interesting. You're too old to be attractive. You're too old for me, even though I'm old enough to be your daddy.
And not without a Z.
Without a Z.
Like, he's not there,
Leo.
right?
I'm so offended.
But, like, yeah, so you see it in pop culture and with celebrities all the time. Because, I mean, it's literally a fucking joke now to do a countdown to Leonardo's, you know. Yeah, no, absolutely. Perfect. And so the poor older girlfriends of Leonardo DiCaprio.
They're younger than me.
I know, they're younger than me.
Ouch.
But like seriously, and I really feel like there's some probably like rom-coms or like dramedies that are not fantasy that involve that same trope. I mean, look at Monster-in-Law, and yeah, I'm gonna use that as a fucking example. Have you seen it?
I don't
Basically, like, this girl gets engaged to this guy. She's older. She's jealous because she's younger. I feel like it's that same trope, just differently portrayed. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? She's going to replace
ultimately, older women are pitted against younger women.
Right.
Which is why when the mirror says Snow White is the fairest of them all, her mom's like, she got to fucking go. So in comes the huntsman, and she says, hey, bud, I'm going to need you to kill my daughter. And because, like, times they are what they are, I'm going to need you to remove her liver and her heart so I can eat them. Like, wow. Like, not even literal over K word. Literal over K word.
Yeah, it's like, you're a queen. You're not that hungry. But so, like, the huntsman takes her out, and we should have cast the huntsman.
Oh, shit. We did
Can we just go with Chris Hemsworth? Can we just go with Chris Hemsworth? Like, I mean, we don't have to. He's just who I see.
I don't know why I'm so against casting the Hemsworth brothers, but I really am. I'm with that little dude with the piano. It's like, fuck Chris Hemsworth. Everybody loves
Chris
them.
Hemsworth.
I know. I'll take Chris. Is it Chris Pine? Is he the blonde one with the hair?
You know what?
I
do that.
I love Chris Pine.
I would do Chris Pine.
We can totally cast Chris Hemsworth. I'm just saying, I don't know what my aversion is to the Hemsworths. I think it's just like the Kardashians. Everybody loves them. They don't need love from me. You know what I mean?
I used to feel that way, but then I watched the Kardashians, and they're kind of funny. Like,
yep, they don't need me. No judgment to anyone else. That is where my aversion comes from, I think, is all I'm saying.
Oh, no,
okay, so Chris Hemsworth is all like, all right, come little small 7-year-old Jennifer Connelly. Let us away into the woods to go pick flowers and innocent things like that.
How sad. And like,
but he can't do it because
she's crying.
She's innocent and she's beautiful, she's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, my mom's never sent me off with the hot guy that stands behind her all day. What's this about?
It's just, you know, he sees her and he can't kill a kid.
No, and so he's just like,
I'm like,
move on your way. Go on. Go on. I know.
I'm like, God damn it. She's not Kristen Stewart.
No, she is 7-year-old Jennifer Connelly. We have to remember. So he just taps her on her little bum and he says, all right, scooch on now. Yeah. Scooch into the woods. And she's like,
He's like, run, go, get out of here.
And so she just keeps walking and walking and walking, and then she happens upon a house with 7 dwarves. And
this bitch totally feels like
possibly minors.
Like coal miners.
Yeah.
Hi ho.
Right.
Better stop that shit before Disney shuts us down.
It's off to work we go. Sorry guys, I couldn't help myself.
So this bitch totally pulls a fucking Goldilocks.
She Goldilocks her way through that entire fucking house.
First of all, that's rude.
Oh my god, you're gonna try all the food? That is so wrong.
That's just rude.
It is
I'm trying to tell myself, okay, she's a little girl.
Right.
She's also a princess. Literally.
Literally. So she's been spoiled her whole life by this mother who adored her until she got pretty.
And
seems legit up until the last part.
So then she's like trying the food, and she ends up falling asleep in one of the 7 dwarves' beds.
Right, because she Goldilocks her way through the beds too. She doesn't just do it with the food.
And they pull
Rude as shit. I bet she didn't even make those beds back.
I know. And then they pull a Goldilocks, and they're like, "Who's been eating my oatmeal?" Anyway,
they find this little kid in bed, and they're like, "Okay. Well, I guess she's ours."
They're like, I guess you don't have to go you can stay here, but you need to stay home. You gotta clean up. Yeah, you gotta clean up after us.
Like us 7 grown men. Mm-hmm. Like, it's very odd. Like,
it is odd.
It's odd.
It's weird.
It's weird. Like, it's weird. It's just weird. It's weird. Okay, so can't do those jokes, so we're gonna move on. And so
literally half the episode.
I know. She's like protected by these dwarves. They're taking care of her, and they're like, "Hey, but just stay inside. These woods can be dangerous. Like, don't let anybody in. You don't go out. Just
Which makes sense now that we know she's 7, because if the bitch was like a grown ass adult, I'd be like, "Who are you? Why are you telling me
I can't go outside?"
Exactly.
Yeah, like I never understood that in the but yeah.
Me either.
So she's 7. So they're like, I guess if we're gonna be responsible for you, we gotta be responsible. So you can't go outside while we're gone.
Oh my god! What if it's like one of those? It's a sitcom, you guys. It's a fucking 80s or 90s sitcom where they have to be dads. Like they have to be dads. You know, what is it, like 3 Men and a Baby or Son of Shit?
My 2 dads. Yeah,
yes.
Love that shit. Love that shit. So, yeah, they have to be dads. They don't know how to be daddies, but now they're daddies, and they're like, we don't want you eaten by a wolf because you sweep up good, girl. So, she's been taking care of them, and, her mom, it's not long before she finds her, because she knows right away that Snow White's not dead, because she consults her mirror the next day.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
It's your daughter. Like I told you yesterday. Like, she's not getting any less pretty, and
this
you're not getting any younger, bitch.
Emma Roberts
is like, oh my god.
She's got her cigarette. She's like, interesting. Send in the huntsman.
If you want something done right, you gotta do it yourself.
Right.
And then Chris Hemsworth comes in, and she's like, so whose heart did I fucking eat?
Oh my god, right.
Also, whose organs did I eat? Like, where is that part of the conversation?
That is scary.
But, yeah, so she's like, if you want it done right, you gotta do it yourself. So first, she goes to Snow White's, and she's all like, hey, what's up, girl?
It doesn't really say how she knows where she's at. A mirror? It was like, gotta be the mirror. That's what I was thinking.
I think it's more the fact that she, hunts it down. Like, okay, so the huntsman probably tells her where he left Snow White.
Right.
So she goes there, and she starts looking. So it only takes her a couple days or whatever to find Snow White. Or a couple weeks. So she finds Snow White.
Snow White's like, la-da-da.
Right, and there's, little bird flying in. Yeah. But not really, because the Grimms don't write that in the story.
Speaking of pop culture, gotta mention Snow White and fucking Shrek. When she's, singing to the end. And then, she's, sooks the animals.
Zeppelin.
I know, that was so fucking funny. Sorry, oh, my God. So funny.
But, so very much like Snow White and the Tale of Terror, where Sigourney Weaver is the evil queen, and she is also a wicked witch, and she looks ugly as fuck when she's all disguised. Emma Roberts gets on her old lady disguise, and she goes up to Snow White, and she's like, hey girl, hey.
She's like, you're so beautiful, here's a Buddhist for you. Oh my God.
I will help you with this bodice because nobody around here
Am I
can help
saying
you.
this
Yeah,
shit
it's
wrong?
bodice.
Oh my God, I'm saying Buddhist this whole fucking time.
it's
You never
bodice.
said anything.
Well, you only said it one time on the
Okay,
thing,
okay.
Yeah, but so she's like, I am going to lace up this bodice for you. And she laces it up so tight. This shit always happened in the past, though. That's why we don't do bodices anymore. She laced it up so tight, Snow White passed out.
She pulls a straight up Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep.
Like, straight up. And
so Emma Roberts is like,
that you need to do that for a Halloween episode. That was the perfect evil witch, like stepbrother.
I was channeling Emma Roberts.
And then she like goes away, and much to her disdain, and like
the dwarves come back in time, and
they pull a Captain Jack and just like rip that shit off.
Right?
And she's like, oh my God.
And they're like, what?
Didn't we just fucking tell you? You are grounded.
Where did you find a bodice around here, girl? Like, ain't none of us been letting you into our drawers?
Right. Like, oh my God, you are fucking grounded, bitch. We told you. And she's like, I promise I won't do it again. And then what does this bitch do? She does it again.
Because Emma Roberts be consulting that mirror. She's like, mirror, mirror on the wall. Now who's the fanciest bitch of them all? And the mirror's like, it's still your daughter, ho. You're not getting any younger.
Oh, that's fucked up. That is
I'm
so
just
funny.
saying, that's how she heard it, whether that's what the mirror said or not. That chain-smoking bitch.
No, because like the way you said it, like I could see her standing with her cigarette, and she's like, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the hottest bitch of them all?
Not you, ho.
She's
oh
like,
my God, it's her own reflection.
I know. Oh my God, I love that. It's her own reflection, and she's like,
not you.
Haven't we been over this before, bitch?
You're not getting any younger.
It's Snow White.
It's Snow, ho.
You're not getting any younger.
Nope.
Yeah.
And Emma does that thing that I hate in movies where she's just lit the cigarette and she puts it out so that she can say something else.
What a waste.
Why do they do that?
I know.
It makes me so mad. I'm not even a smoker
And they don't even
anymore.
like gently dab it out.
No, they like crush that bitch. No real smoker does that. None of us did that. Where did you guys get that shit
What
from?
a waste of fucking money.
It is. Nobody's gonna do that. Nobody's gonna
Anyway,
do that.
so she does put it out, and she's like,
I got too excited, sorry.
no, it's okay. So she's like, here we go again. So she shows up, once again, a different disguise. She's got a comb. And she's like,
Snow's all messy because she's been living with all them men.
And she's been cleaning all day.
Yeah, she's a little rough around the edges.
She's like, here, let me...
She ain't brushed her hair in 5 years like me.
Look at this pretty brush I'm selling. It's made of fucking ivory because this is a long time ago, and unfortunately we did that type of thing.
Ouch! I didn't think about that. That hurt my feelings.
It did, but I
Yeah,
bet
you're
it
right.
was very
yeah,
pretty.
It was probably pretty.
Like,
And sharp.
and yeah, right. Like, I say that, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm seeing, like, this actual real ivory, like, ugh, that's, okay. Anyway, ivory is bad.
Only elephants need it. And
Yes.
rhinos.
Yes.
Not Shima. Anyway.
So they're like, she's like, let me brush your hair. Oh my God, you have like this like prettiest hair, but it's so messy. Let me brush it for you. And Snow White's like, okay. Okay? Bitch. What the fuck? She's so dumb. And guess what happens? The ivory fucking gorgeous ass comb is covered in fucking poison.
Right. So she just falls out. But also, she's like an impressionable 7-year-old.
That is true.
We have to
That
remember.
is true. I keep forgetting. Thank you for reminding me.
She's a 7-year-old who misses her mommy's love and adoration.
She misses her mom brushing her
She
hair.
does.
And it is her mom
And it
brushing
is her mom.
hair.
Fuck you, Emma.
Oh
Fuck
my
you,
God.
Emma Roberts. We don't like your bitch ass. And so Emma's all like,
Her, she's like,
my bad.
Yeah,
I did the wrong laugh.
And she does brush her hair. And now you say that, and maybe I'm just H exclamation point GIH. But like, that hurt my heart because that is her mom.
I know, like, that is why I said it like that, because it just struck me like this little girl is with a bunch of grown men that aren't pampering her, and she misses her mommy loving her.
Oh,
and
that hurts.
she's like, yeah, brush my hair, even though these men said I can't let anybody else in because, like,
she's like,
I shouldn't have did that. And, like, the brush, like, the comb goes in and she falls out.
let's just hurt some people's heart too. Maybe she goes, you remind me of someone.
Oh, no, that was too much, Maddie.
I know.
Too
Anyway,
harsh.
she falls over fucking dead because it's poisoned, right?
Right.
And then she goes and disappears.
She takes off again.
And guess what? The dwarves come back and they're like, this
Oh my
fucking bitch.
What the fuck is in your hair? And you're dead. And they pull the comb out and she's alive again. So I like how the poison only worked when the comb was touching her. Like,
It's like the apple. Maybe
did
it's
Emma not think this through? You know, like, the corset was an okay idea, but like,
now in my head I'm imagining all of the dwarves are talking to her, and one of them's brushing their hair, and they're like, if you just want your hair brushed, all you have to do is ask, because we're taking care of you now, we're your dads.
that's super cute, but I highly doubt a bunch of minors back in the 1800s
Right.
would emotionally have that availability.
Snow
I
White
love
makes
the
me hate
idea.
men. No, I'm just kidding. Guys, I'm just kidding. I am just kidding.
We'll get there. We'll get there, Peter. So she is like, they are like, bitch, do not let a motherfucking soul in here when we go to work today, okay? And she's like, yes, I understand. I won't let anybody in. Meanwhile, Emma has consulted her mirror, and the mirror has been like, no, bitch, you're not the most fair. Your kid's still out there.
They're like, damn, can you do anything right?
Right? And it's herself talking to herself, which pisses her off even more. You know it does.
Exactly. I
You
love that.
know it
I
does.
love the idea
Absolutely.
of it being her.
Yeah. So she goes back, and she knows that Snow is going to be like, no. So she gets together a nice basket of apples, and she has one that she poisons half of.
Right.
She poisons half of the apple. So she goes back to Snow, and she's all like, knock, knock, knock. And Snow White comes to the door, and she's like, no, I can't let you, I can't, I'm not allowed. And she's like, that's okay. I just have these apples I want to share with you. And, like, again, she's disguised differently. It's not the same old lady every time.
She's got like a different mustache.
Right, she's got like a different wig.
Yeah,
And, like,
right.
there's a little bit of the Emma Roberts hair poking out, but Snow White's 7. She doesn't fucking know.
She doesn't even realize.
Yeah, she doesn't. Yeah, she's just like, I'm not supposed to let you in. But them apples look good. And she's like, I want to share this fruit with you. And Snow White's like,
She's like, see, I'll take a bite.
Luck lately.
Right.
Yeah, she's like, you take a bite first. And so she takes a bite out of the half that's not poisoned. Mm-hmm. And so Snow White's
like, nice. I'm going to have some.
Fuck yeah, an apple a day keeps the fucking evil queen away.
Wrong. She falls over.
Yeah.
She fucking dies again.
She's dead.
She's actually like dead.
Like, she's dead. Yeah. The dwarves come back and they find little 7-year-old Snow dead, and this time they don't know what happened. There's no comb to pull out. There's no bodice to save her from.
Yeah, they don't understand. So they're really sad, and
they make a glass coffin because she's so beautiful.
I love the idea of a glass coffin. I love the idea of a glass coffin romantically. If you think about it logically, it's gross.
I love the idea of a glass coffin in theory, fantasy-wise.
Yeah, I think that's what when I say romantically, that's what I mean.
Like, in real life, seems like a bad idea.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that'd be fucking gross.
Yeah.
But, like...
But it's a cool idea. Like,
she
was so pretty, and they just put her in there with flowers all around her.
Also, it just makes me sad, because it's like they didn't want to say goodbye.
Yeah.
They didn't want to lose her.
Yeah, no, it's super sweet. Like, they are devoted. Like, they are daddies. In not a gross way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And...
Yeah. And, like, they always... They want to watch over her, so they put her up on the mountain by where their mine is, so that at some point, like, someone is always there to watch over her. Like, always there to watch over her. And a little bit of time passes, and this little prince named Peter Dinklage is going through the forest, and he's like, making my way, and he's like, he comes upon the household of the dwarves, and he's like, hey, can I stay here for a while? I'm going through these woods, and they're like, sure, whatever.
Because that's what they did.
Yeah, because that's what they did back then. Like, you never turn a guest away. It could be Odin at your door. And so they let him in, and while he's staying there, he catches sight of this little beautiful girl in this glass coffin, and he has to have her. And it's weird, y'all. Who sees a dead body in a glass box and they're like, I need that in my life?
I think I read a story about somebody who did that in the early 1900s.
Weird. It's gross. I can't truck with that. It's weird.
It's super weird.
It's super weird. And so he's like, hey, dwarves, like, I need to have her. And they're like, no, that's weird. No. And he's like, I'll buy her from you. I'm rich.
And I'm like, no.
No. So then he, like, silver tongues them into being, he's like, you got to give it to me as a gift. I'm royalty.
I'm your guest.
Yeah, I'm your guest. Give me a gift. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, under those circumstances, which is the dumbest thing. If you're not giving her away, why are you gonna... You won't give her away under all these circumstances, but like, oh, you need to give him a gift, so you'll give him this dead girl. And so he's like, all right. And he has his servants like,
load her up,
take her home. Let's go home. And he takes her back to his castle.
So
and
like,
they go everywhere.
There's two different versions. Do you mind if
well, that's the whitewashed later version, the slipping and falling. But yeah, we can cover it if you want.
That's just my favorite version of it. Like, Amber prefers the original one.
Like the OG.
I just really like this one it's hilarious. It is totally hilarious. I don't know why. I think the reason why I prefer this one is because this is the first one that I heard like forever ago. But basically they go over a bump, the apple comes out of her mouth, and she's suddenly alive, and she's sitting up, and oh my god, she's alive, and I love her, and he puts her on his horse, and they ride into the, castle.
She's like 9 or 11 years old, guys. Like, it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. All of this, like, little girl part is weird.
It's super triggering. I'm so sorry. Weird. I can't tell if you can tell. I don't know if you can tell. I'm like,
I feel the need to point out that it's weird, guys.
I know. I'm like, maybe we should put a trigger warning in the, like, we never
see that there is the SEX word happening, so there's that. It's just weird that, like, she's like, yeah, I'll marry you. When you think she's 16, it's fine, but she's, like, not. So in the other version, in the OG, they take her back to the castle, and he loves her so much. He can't be away from her. And so he's like, he's got to have her with him at all times. So, like, they carry her casket around all the fucking place so he can always see her. And, like, in one version of that version, he doesn't know where to put her. And in another version, he just always wants her with him. But either way, Chris Farley is the punchy servant, and he gets so fucking tired of moving this goddamn glass coffin
the prince
around.
Turns his back for a minute.
Right, and he's like, open the coffin, and he punches her in the back of the head out of frustration. Because, like, she dead, y'all. But it knocks the apple out of her mouth, and now she's alive. And the prince is all like, oh my god, now we can get married. And she's like, oh, yes, we can.
I love the way you said that, dude. And then they do.
And they do.
But it's not over yet.
No, it's not over yet, because for the longest time, Emma's been checking her mirror, and she's like, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most fair of them all? And the mirror's like,
the mirror. I feel like the mirror.
You are hoe. Oh,
I know.
Ho.
I feel like
go ho.
The mirror all of a sudden is like, wait. Oh hell no, girl. Guess who is back?
You know who's... Well, actually, what the mirror says is the fairest of them all is the the princess of, and like names a place, but it doesn't say Snow White anymore. So she doesn't actually know.
She just goes
to see who is the fairest of them all. And much to her surprise, there's her daughter.
And it's revealed to the prince. Does Snow White tells the prince? Somehow the prince finds out. Is it from Snow White?
And I mean, it's like they've already been prepared for this. So did Snow White expect that her mom was going to find out she was back because of the mirror? I don't even know if Snow knew about the mirror in the first place.
Plot hole.
But they already had the shoes ready.
Right.
They were iron shoes that were heated in the fire. And her mom had to wear them and dance until she died.
And that's the end.
That's the end of the OG Grimm, yeah. But, like, the OG Grimm isn't even the OG. The OG are a bunch of other fucking stories, which I'll go through real quick because this has been a really long episode for a night where we're doubling up on recording. So, in 1634, Basile wrote The Young Slave. And it's a story about, so this girl, she swallows a rose petal and she gets pregnant from the rose petal, which I think there has to be further.
I low-key love that because Faye.
Right, exactly. I think there has to be other lore associated with that because, like, she gets pregnant by the rose petal. She goes to get the baby blessed. And she comes upon some fairy that's, like, upset about, like, the fact that she had a baby from a rose petal, and so she like curses the baby to be like super fragile, and so the mom's like, oh my god, like I don't want some weird shit to happen to my kid. So like she's super careful with her all the time, but she's combing her hair one night, and the comb pierces the girl's skull and causes the girl to kind of fall out and be dead. Okay, and so like the mom is fucking devastated, and she's like royalty, whatever, right? So anyway, like in their castle, she has 7 crystal coffins constructed for the girl, and the girl is put inside 7 crystal coffins that are put up in a room up in the back of their castle, right? And it's left there, and the mom goes to visit it sometimes and whatever, but then the mom dies, and so her brother, who is the like, we're going to call him the Baron because I don't fucking remember what he was. But he's the Baron of this castle. And he's like the guy in charge or whatever. And so like he knows his niece is up here, right? And he knows to take care of her or whatever. Because like she's like apparently been growing this whole time, right? Because she died when she was a little girl. But like she's been aging even though she's dead in these 7 crystal coffins. And I think the fact that she's aging has something to do with the 7 crystal coffins, if I'm being honest. So, due to something happening, at some point, the comb gets jostled out of her head when the Baron's wife goes in the room she's not supposed to go into that has the 7 crystal coffins in it. And so, like, the comb comes out of the girl's head. She's alive again, but she's, like, 16 or something now, right? She's, like, a teenager, a young lady. And, like, the wife is like, what the fuck are you doing in here? Because she thinks that it's her husband's mistress, because she thinks the husband's fucking around on her. So like this girl like wakes up, like the last thing this girl knew, her mom was combing her hair. So she's like, mom, where are you? And like the wife is like, bitch, I ain't your mama, and you ain't seeing her again because I'm gonna make you my slave. And she does. She Cinderella's this girl. She puts her down in the kitchens, gets her all dirty, makes her sleep by the hearth, tries to tire her out and ruin her beauty because she's fucking beautiful. And like one day the Baron is gonna go on this trip, and like a custom back then was if you ask, like if the head of the household is going on a trip and offers to get everybody like something while they're gone, that's like a tradition or some shit, and they like have to honor whatever request is made by the people that live in the household or whatever, right? So the wife is really pissed off knowing that her slave is going to be giving orders to her husband of stuff she wants, thinking that this was her husband's mistress, right? So the wife asks for like a fuck ton of shit, hoping to make him forget what the the slave girl asks for. The slave girl asks for like a comb, a doll, and like a razor blade or some shit like that.
Weird shit.
And she's like, if you don't remember all this shit for me, you're not going to be able to get back home again. And so like he goes on his trip, he gets all his stuff for his wife. He's trying to get back home and like he can't. And he can't get back home, and then he remembers, oh yeah, I gotta get this stuff for the girl.
I mean, she totally
was born of a rose petal,
which I think that's beautiful. Is that weird to me?
I think it's really cool. Like, do you want to know how she's born of a rose petal? One of the versions of the story that I heard was there was a game where like they were playing jump over the rose bush, and she knocked a petal off one of the roses, but she didn't want to lose the game, so she picked it up off the ground real quick before anybody could see it and swallowed it, and that's how she got pregnant by the rose petal. So she could win a game. But anyway, so the girl totally probably is Faye, because she was like, if you don't remember this shit from me. Anyway, so like he remembers the stuff finally. He gets it. He's able to cross the bridge to get back home. He gives everybody the stuff they asked for. The little girl, or I guess the teenage girl, whatever, she now has the stuff. And he's all super like, why the fuck do you want this shit? So like he comes upon one night.
You were telling me this story because Amber was the one telling me this, and I was like, why the fuck does she want this shit? It makes no sense.
Well, and it makes me think of Vasilisa the Beautiful, which we talked about her story with that doll that comes alive when
that's
she feeds it. Right? So it totally made me think about that.
You also say she was in a thing of crystals.
7 crystal coffins. Yeah, like also like totally recharging her.
Right,
keeping her growing. I don't know.
Her alive. I know, that was my
absolutely thought. Faye energy. She's half rose petal. Faye energy. But also that's why her lips are bright red. Not really, I'm just making that up.
I love that.
But it makes sense. So she's like brushing the doll's hair, and she's like, hey little doll, you need to come to life, because if you don't come to life so I can talk to you, I am gonna off myself. Like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just, and the Baron, he's overhearing this. He's like, what the fuck? So he's like,
oh, what's going on?
Yes,
and so he like pretends to, and I'm imagining Adam Sandler's like voice. He's like, what's wrong, little girl?
I like it better that since he's the Baron now instead of the Prince, it's Peter Dinklage.
Oh, Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, because I could see him being like, just like he's so nice to Sansa.
Right,
you know what I mean?
So nice.
He'd be like, it's okay, tell me all your troubles, little girl. So she tells about how, you know, she was a little girl and her mom was combing her hair, and the next thing she knows, she wakes up in this room with all these coffins, and this lady's yelling at her and makes her a slave, and then she finds out it's her uncle's wife, but she can't do anything because, like, she'll get punished, and, like, so now he is, like, furious because he knows this is his beloved niece brought back to life. And so like the wife is angry that she got the I don't know what the wife's deal is, but she's gonna burn the little girl to death.
The problem with the wife
she's not a little girl, she's a grown woman.
The problem with the wife is back to that young woman versus older woman.
Yeah, well, and again, she thinks this is her husband's mistress.
Right, exactly.
Who has just gotten what she wanted from her husband, even if it was a weird request.
So what does the husband do?
So the husband comes out and he's like, ha-ha, somebody's being burned alive, but it's not my niece, because that's my niece you've been
somebody
torturing.
Call an ambulance, but not for her.
You're dead. And he burns his wife alive, and then, like, they live happily ever after.
Wow, he serened that bitch.
Right? But there's even older stories. So there's, like, actually, there was a connection with a story that I meant to look more detail up about, because I forgot the girl's name, but it was a goddess who... she was so beautiful that Hermes and Apollo forced themselves on her.
Well, of course.
Right? And then she was all like, I'm
Apollo.
so beautiful.
I thought better of those two. I am so sorry.
They are horny. Anyway.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I had to my
No, you're good. But like, yeah, the story was that they had their way with her separately because they couldn't resist. And she's like, oh, I'm so irresistible. And then the Aphrodite and Artemis, two of the goddesses, I can't remember who, they took offense.
Artemis is like, you're better than that.
Right. They took offense and they punished her somehow. So like, that's like way back an original version of Snow White. There's also... I was telling you about the Armenian story about this girl named Nori who is born, and her mother loves her very much, and her mother every full moon, goes up to the moon and uses the moon like a mirror and asks the moon who's the most beautiful. And forever the moon says it's her. But then one day the moon says it's her daughter, Nori. And so she's all like, husband, you gotta kill our kid. She's too beautiful. And the husband's like, oh, I'll kill her. But really, he just runs her off into the woods. Story of Nori's fucking weird. Nori goes off into the woods with this little, she winds up in a hut where she has to take care of a prince who's asleep for 7 years. And it's really fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but the 7 theme is in almost all of the stories. It's always like, she's too beautiful for the woman in charge. Because there's also Belisari, which is about this girl and a fish who are connected. It's a really cool story too. There's really cool background for Snow White, but it's all really crazy. And then there's this thing with Alan Turing that I thought was interesting. Who he helped win World War II for one. The British government sucks because they chemically castrated him because he's gay. But he was obsessed with the Snow White story, and he was found dead with an apple that had been poisoned with cyanide. And nobody knows if it was suicide or murder. So we'll end there because I just thought that was a cool thing.
That is so interesting.
Yeah. I had written down his name, and I was like, oh yeah.
What do you guys think about the Snow White story?
What do you think? You like the dark fairy tales? I don't know. Let us know in the comments on YouTube. And then like and subscribe.
Check us out on Twitter at Classiest Witches and Instagram, Witches Talking Tarot.
Yes. And hi, Melissa. You can join Melissa with all the awesome perks on our Patreon at patreon.com/Witches Talking Tarot.
Bye.
Thanks for coming to Citizenville.